So I'm calling my real estate gurus, my first time investors, my experienced investors, my real estate agents. Look, I need everybody in the real estate realm to tap in. I really need y'all to hear what Ali and the team over at Getaway are doing, because essentially they're trying to help educate, they're trying to help make your real estate experience as seamless and as simple as possible. How? Well, everybody wants to get involved in some form, in some capacity. I do myself. Something that they said they realized was one of the biggest pain points, and I would have to agree, is really the financial aspect. Oftentimes it can take so much to get started. It can take a lot of capital, and then the investment may not always be worth your while. But what if I told you, or what if they told you, that this company could offer upward of 75% of the down payment? Now, I'm not saying every deal is going to go down like that. I'm not saying it's always going to be that much, but essentially they are trying to knock down what you would have to put forth and what you would have to put forward. That way, you can become that true real estate entrepreneur that you've been looking to do and continue to build your portfolio. Because one of their main focuses is how can they help you get to a point where you live off your passive income and passive income only. So, to find out the answer to that question and many more, tune into episode 171, Properties and Partnerships.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Down to Business podcast here with Tamar Turner. I feel like with every episode, I give some sort of call to action. I call my audience out, my followers out, my people out. But this one, I'm really calling y'all out because I feel like we've talked so much about real estate. And I know eyebrows are already raising, eyes are wide. Like we've talked so much about it. We've talked to land flippers, we've talked to real estate investors, we've talked to buyers, sellers, Airbnb hosts, everything of the sort. But I feel like that should just let y'all know, one, that just how, I guess, open this market is, just how versatile you can be within this market, but also just how much opportunity there really is out there. But with opportunity always comes and the chance to learn, the chance to maybe pick up something that you were not doing before, the chance for a partnership or a collaboration. So I'm very excited to be sitting across from Ali today, and she's going to give y'all, one, everything that she does, but two, probably give y'all some gems and some ways to make some money. And I know that y'all love making money, so I'm pretty sure y'all are going to tap in for this one. So Ali, how you doing today? How's everything on your end?
I'm wonderful. That was like such a great intro. I'd love to help everybody make some money.
All right. Well, the people are definitely going to love you for sure. So before we get into all things that you do, before we get into all the ways that you're going to make my followers rich, in a sense, can you, one, just tell us a little bit about yourself, and then can you, two, just tell us what brings you on the Down to Business podcast today?
Yeah, of course. And thank you, first off, so much for having me. So I'm Allie Nichols. I am the co-founder of a real estate startup called Getaway. And at Getaway, we help our investors, or we like to deem them as real estate entrepreneurs, really scale their portfolios. So we really help people go from owning, 0 to 1 to 2 to 3 properties all the way up to 50 plus. And our main focus is how can we help you get to a place where you can retire on your passive income versus continuing to work that 9 to 5 job. The way that we're able to do that is through a co-investment product. So we actually help you scale by bringing part of the capital to the table. We'll come in, co-invest alongside of the down payment portion of a deal, um, allowing you to really scale, buy more properties, potentially shorten that time frame to building that large portfolio, as well as we have a variety of tools and products that help investors find the best deals, manage their portfolios ongoing, and so forth. But that's like the quick snippet on me and what we're building.
I like that. I like that a lot. I love the foundation that's been already set, but I love to hear, even with that answer, I really hear that there's so much that could come from this. There's so much that you guys are already have amassed, but there's so much that you guys are going to amass. So my first immediate question really becomes about origin, about founding, about really getting this
Yeah.
ground up and running. So with getting into real estate, was this always the goal at hand, that you wanted to partner with investors? Was this always the plan, that you wanted to make things easier for investors, bringing you, like you said, meeting us kind of in the middle? You probably meet us honestly more than the middle, being that you're willing to put up that money too. But coming into business, really being a business owner, being an entrepreneur, being a
Yeah.
startup founder, however you want to really task yourself, would you say that this was always the goal, always the interest, to really just help real estate investors?
Yeah, it's such a great question. So before I started Getaway, I was at a different real estate startup, and we had the fortune of working with pretty large institutional clients. So think mutual funds, pension funds, hedge funds, where all of the money lives at the institutional level, go out and buy and manage and operate real estate. And I learned so much. It was such a great experience. In a lot of ways, it was my dream job for a kid that's always been obsessed with this space. But I was really disheartened and discouraged about the fact that I personally have been trying to build up a real estate portfolio, and it's just gotten harder and harder and harder. And especially as you're looking to scale beyond like your first and second property, when it comes to the financing side of the equation, it just gets more and more challenging. You kind of graduate as an individual from conventional financing to commercial financing, but you don't have a lot of firepower behind you individually, until you really make it. And so I saw this huge need of like, okay, so this is really tough for individuals to do. How can I actually help myself, my friends, like this community of people that are really trying to make real estate their future? And got obsessed with this idea of like, I just want to help more and more people become real estate investors, because it's, in my opinion, like one of the most tried and true asset classes and ways to build generational wealth, in this country. And so that's where the idea came up of, okay, how do I help this segment, and then really got into what are the biggest pain points today, and this financing piece time and time and time again came up as an issue. So that's why we're focused where we are.
I love that. I love a lot of what we talk about and a lot of what we attack on this podcast is really facing problems head on, really being at other organizations, maybe even starting something beforehand, coming into business with people. But ultimately, through your experience, through the years, through these dream jobs, anything as we call it, these positions, you start to notice certain things about the industry. Whereas you were so passionate and forward obsessed with it, you still notice that there are things that can be changed. There are ways we can assist other people. There are ways I want to make sure that people don't have to go through the loops and bounds and the hoops and hurdles that I did. And I love approaches like that. One, because it shows how selfless you are. Because, sometimes people, they struggle. They want other people to struggle. Look, if I had to work for this, if I had to do all this research, then you should be doing the same. There are other people who are just like, look, I did have to struggle. I understood, but I'm very due diligent. I'm very proactive. I love what I do. I love this industry. So yes, while I still want you to, I'm not just going to do everything for you. I still do want you to work for it. I'm going to also give you the tools, the keys, the tips, the tricks, and everything like that. So I love that approach like that. Now, I heard you, obviously, since we started this interview, going through the bio, everything like that, you obviously love real estate. You obviously love
Yeah.
that may be an understatement. But would you say there was really an aha moment for you, whether it came when you were working for the original startup company, whether it came before that? Where did really your obsession, your passion, your love for all things real estate, where did it first start?
Oh gosh, it like honestly started when I was a little kid. I've talked about this before, but I literally like have memories of being, younger than 10 years old, pulling out the newspaper like every weekend and going through the open house section and like circling ones that I thought were interesting, and then trying to convince my parents to go after, like, we went to church on Sundays to all of these open houses. And then the funny part was like, even as a kid, it was never like, oh, this is a big, pretty house. It was always like, ooh, there's a deal here. There's an opportunity. Like, this one is in a better neighborhood, a better street, and like you could trade into it. And like, I've always thought like that. And so it just was such a natural progression of my career. I was super fortunate, actually, to start really my career in true, like, tech company type roles, but always knew I wanted to get closer to the real estate industry. And so I went into this space, which we like to coin as prop tech or property technology, which is basically like real estate startups, and have found like my niche. Like, I love this space and think I'll play in this space my whole career, because it really just combines like this amazing, can solve any problem attitude, like, why you challenge the status quo, let's move fast, let's execute, let's do things differently than we've done them before, with an industry I'm super super passionate about. So it's just been fantastic fit. So yes, it started at a young age. I can't tell you where. My parents aren't real estate agents or in the industry at all. So I just like fell into my lap, I guess.
Well, that's pretty advanced for under 10 years old. I wasn't picking up any newspapers that early, and if I was, I really was not reading them. More so flipping through them, trying to make different things out of them. So the fact that you were just so, I guess, honed in at such a young age, your parents were probably too just like, wow, wait, hold on, we gotta
They
figure out
definitely thought I would become an agent. Like that is like for sure. They were like, yeah, we always thought you'd have like your own brokerage, but this is kind of close.
Gotcha. Now, I love one of the points that you hit on about challenging the status quo. I feel like that's something that's so hard across so many different industries. I've talked to healthcare people. I've talked to people in college admissions. I've talked to people in technology, AI space,
Yeah.
and everything like that. And I feel like time and time again, we see that there are so many problems across different functions, across different industries, fields, and everything. But time and time again, we see this, if it ain't broke, don't fix it type of mentality. We see a lot of these companies and these organizations, they'll kind of just gloss over things or deal with certain things that they don't want to necessarily challenge themselves. Whereas I feel like with you, you directly saw something and wanted to kind of go at it head on with this company Getaway just the same. Now, I also know, obviously, that there are a host of other real estate investing platforms. There are a host of other organizations like
Yep.
your own and everything like that. But it's not to say that they are also challenging the status quo. They could just be, another name. They could just be kind of getting by. They could just be getting their feet off the ground and trying to build that foundation. So what would you say really differentiates you from these other platforms, from these other companies, and allows you to continuously challenge the status quo?
Yeah. So the biggest thing for us is we actually invest alongside our customers. So it's something that I've actually not seen anywhere else in the market and really is unique. So, for example, today, if you were to go out and buy an investment property, the standard right now is like 25% down to, let's say, go out and buy like a triplex that you're going to rent out. If you were to partner with us, we, depending on, the property has to qualify, the cash flows have to make sense. Like we want to make sure it's a good investment, not only for you, but for us. We will come in and we can bring upwards of 75% of that down payment or 75% of the equity, however you want to talk about it, which means that our customers are putting in, 5 to 10% down on a deal versus 25 to 30%. So it's just like from a scaling your portfolio, being able to move faster perspective, we're really unlocking things for folks in a time period where, capital efficiency is becoming more and more challenging.
Wow, well, you got me at
Yeah.
those percentages. I know there are
Yeah.
people listening that are in that first time home buying stage, in that home buying stage. Even being in Florida, I kept hearing so many different things this last year about just wait for the market to crash, it'll be fine, everything's gonna be
Yeah.
some people are just like, you better buy now. It's getting crazy. I was even going back to Philly and seeing what some houses were worth like pre-pandemic or growing up, and to hear what they're worth now, it's like ridiculous.
Wild.
Wow, yeah, hearing with some of my friends' moms and parents, and even some of my neighbors, what they bought their houses for, what they were paying originally, and now what they could sell it for. It's insane, and it's especially when you
Yeah.
think about, I feel like sometimes people forget maybe where you grew up. Whereas I feel like up north, it's a lot of that row home style. It's a lot of that back to back. It's not a lot of that land, that yard, that backyard, everything like that. Everything is pretty interconnected. Whereas you come out here in Florida, it's spacious. It's a lot of land galore. It's different things. So yeah, to really just get so much back and forth about the market, it can become confusing. It can become overwhelming. It can be a lot there. So what I'm also hearing with this platform is that you guys also provide some sort of education, some sort of guidance, like you said, right alongside. And I think that makes it just more personable in the same, because anybody can hear down payments, anybody can do their Googles, anybody can figure things out.
Yeah.
But who's to say what a good deal is versus a bad deal? Something can look good on paper, but you go do some landscaping of it, or you go do kind of a survey of it, and you see that this is not it, or land it. I've
Yeah.
talked to some people who were saying that there are certain codes that you have to abide by in different
Yeah.
cities and states and things like that. And it was just like all this stuff going right over my head. So the fact that, we have organizations and we have companies that are able to do that for you and able to kind of invest alongside of you just the same, I love that. So, but it also kind of makes me beg the question too. So when it comes to like partnerships or other organizations that you may kind of be bringing alongside, if that, and even correct me if I'm wrong here, would you say that, do you guys partner with particular businesses, partner with particular companies? I know you also mentioned too, like you guys have your own software, your own platform that you kind of
Yeah.
just the same. So is it kind of a combination of both things? Because I could imagine too that this is something where you want people to know about, you want the word to get out just the same. So how exactly does that work for Getaway?
Yeah, so first and foremost, we love to partner with real estate agents and folks that either have clients that are looking to buy investment properties and are looking, can they maybe buy two properties instead of one this year because they're partnering with us? Or on the flip side, real estate agents that have clients that are selling their properties, and we have a huge qualified pool of interested investors that would be open to buying those properties. So that's like one major partnership. We also partner with, if you think in a transaction, we have title and escrow, you have inspectors, and so forth. There's a lender involved. So basically, every step of the way, we've built out partnerships, even on to ongoing property management and on the ground support. So really, working with us, you could be a first time investor or an extremely experienced investor, and we're still going to provide the resources and third party vendors and things like that to make this as seamless and smooth of a transaction as possible.
I'm glad you ended like that because we love seamless and smooth.
Smooth, right? Who doesn't?
With real estate, there can be so much coming at you. There can be just a lot of things to keep in front of you,
Yeah,
a lot of
it's always a physical world too. There's only so much, like for us, in terms of there's only so much you can do on the computer, but at the end of the day, you're buying a physical asset.
And then too, something that I'm really, I guess it's not really new to me or was not unbeknownst to me, but I'm really starting to realize that a lot of these investors, a lot of these buyers, a lot of these flippers are doing this not even where they live or not even in their state or
Mhm.
city. So that's also an interesting concept because it's just like, wow, like you're putting up money, you're doing things, you're selling things, you're partnering with people, and you're not even there necessarily to see it. And that's a different world too, just to see.
Actually, 100% of our customers to date are out of city, or like call it out of metro buyers, meaning they're not located where they're buying, and majority are out of state.
See, see, all right, this is,
That's because it's like you live in Florida, right? Like Florida is a really tough investor market right now. Prices are super high and rents haven't caught up to purchase price. And so I can tell you, like very few deals pencil in the Florida market today from an investor mindset, because I'm looking at like cash flow and appreciation, but a lot of times cash flow, and with where interest rates are, it's like you're looking for even more cash flow. um, and so folks are like looking at other markets. Like specifically, we focus a lot on the Midwest, where there's still just opportunity as a real estate investor to find that cash flow, that yield.
yeah, I love that. Like you said, that seamless and that smooth, and it really makes because as I've been able to interview different people in different, I don't even really know what to call them because they've all had different titles in different places and spaces. But
Yeah.
as I've talked to multiple guests and just multiple business owners, entrepreneurs, I hear something different all the time. But what I'm also hearing is that you can easily get lost in the sauce here. You can easily get very
Yeah.
boggled down by information. You can write a lot of stuff down, be in a lot of different things, and ultimately you lose track of stuff. Or you keep it's all like a keeping it in front of you mentality. So what that also makes me think of is just myself, just how at times like I can be all over the place with the podcast, being a business owner, being an entrepreneur. I think we all really know that. So a problem, I would say one of the problems that I've had is really just, I'll simply put it, keeping it all in front of me, just task after task. Yes, I can be very much productive. I can have it all figured out, but the journey to that looks a little bit crazy. It's not like a straight line. I'm dipping and dodging different things. So something that I came across recently though, and I really want to give a big shout out to them, is a company by the name of Magic Mind. So for all of my followers, for all of my audience, for everybody tapping in, I'm not sure if you've ever heard of them, but they are deeming themselves the world's first productivity drink, productivity shot. And I really love it. I would say that as somebody who, like I said, was just having a problem, sometimes staying focused, sometimes wanting to do so much with not the many hours in the day. And I really just needed that. But the biggest thing for me, why it was so helpful to me and why I just enjoyed it so much, was one, just because of, I'm not a caffeine person. So really just seeing some of the ingredients like your matcha, but I love all natural. So all natural really stood out to me, the lion's mane, mushroom, and everything like that. But caffeine, I didn't know if this was going to have me like super jittery, bouncing off the walls. I don't drink coffee. All my tea is decaffeinated. So I feel like I'm just on a different level playing field. But with this, I would say it really mellowed me out. It really just allowed me to take it task at a time, task by task by task, by task. And I definitely do encourage all of my followers, all of my audience to do just the same. So I want to share something very special with y'all. I want to share my code for y'all to check out their website, for y'all to even save on a subscription or a first time purchase. So be sure to visit magicmind.com/Tamar20. So that's TAMAR20, my first name. Use it wisely, please. But definitely enjoy 56% off of subscription, or even 20% off of your code. And why I want to recommend this to everybody is just because, there are some days we're not always at 100%. There's some days where everything is coming at us. Deals are coming left and right. We're trying to figure out where we want to invest, where we want to put the money to. Allie's calling us, Getaway's telling us, look, we have a lot going on. We're trying to make this happen. And you're so focused on the money, you see dollar signs, but you got to also make sure you take it one step at a time. So like I said, be sure to try this out. 5-pack, 30-pack. I always recommend the 30-pack and save on that. So again, visit magicmind.com/Tamar20. All right. So now, Allie, I was so just blown away. It was so new to me that people are just investing in places and spaces and not touching these places, not necessarily seeing these properties. Now, it was when I first started doing Airbnb, we were meeting these hosts. We were talking to them. Sometimes they check you in, give you keys, everything like that. But now they got key pads. They're leaving the key in the box. They're saying, hey, giving you instructions, everything like that. So that's so interesting to me. So would you say that with Getaway, with kind of the team that y'all have built, does everybody kind of specialize in something different? Do people focus on markets? I know you said y'all do a lot of deals in the Midwest. Is that a sign to somebody just as being in this field? Would you just say you have to be knowledgeable of kind of everything, or does everybody kind of fall in line in a different place?
Yeah, so we kind of approach it from a kind of a two-pillar approach. First, we use a lot of data that we've proprietary data that we've essentially created in a mass to make decisions on where we're looking, why we're looking at those areas. That could be everything from purchase price to rental income, ratios to how are the schools rated in that neighborhood? How does crime look? There's basically amassing a whole data set of why we even like a specific neighborhood in general. And then we actually rely a lot on so that's one pillar, is the data, we're able to amass and kind of that first pass of a deal. And then once we're, getting closer to actually moving forward with the transaction, we rely heavily on our local partners, to really understand okay, this property is on this street. How is this street? Getting down to the actual physical location, really understanding our inspection reports as when we look at the health of the home, and expecting where we're going to see investment into the maintenance of the property and so forth, because those are the types of things that can really throw you off as an investor, especially a new investor, when you don't have a huge portfolio. So it's if one property doesn't perform, it's okay because you have 10 others that are doing great. Where it's when it's your first property, you want it to be a solid investment. And so really looking at it holistically from a tops down view and a bottoms up view is really important.
I love that. I love that a lot, that y'all approach it from two different perspectives, just because, I definitely have noticed the end all be all approach with a lot of businesses, a lot of business owners, startup founders, and everything like that. And that could be why a lot of them don't continue very long, or a lot of them really, and not even really to say it in a bad way. That did sound kind of bad, so I'm sorry.
It's okay.
More so just to say it too, that I think it's really just a principle thing too. I think it's how you approach, but I also think that things were meant to be changed. The same way I tell people all the time, the same way traditions were set in stone, were made, is the same way that they can be broken. New ones can happen. I feel the same way with rules and policies. I feel like we may come into business with a certain set of rules governing how we operate during that time period. But as things change, as a pandemic happens, as more money is put into the economy, as more money is taken out of the economy, as prices rise, demand rises, surge, and everything like that, I feel like you have to adapt and adjust with the times just the same. And I'm loving that. Now, something I kind of want to get into, just because I'm a big numbers guy, I love everything math. When it comes to Getaway, when it comes to investing, when it comes to that down payment and you really meeting your clients and customers, More than halfway. Is there a minimum amount that has to take place for deals to happen with real estate investments? Are y'all looking for certain? Because I've talked to certain land flippers who, they'll educate a community, they'll talk to people as a whole, but then personally, they'll only look to do certain dollar amount deals. So with Getaway, I understand that y'all do the percentages and y'all fill in that way.
Yeah.
Would you say that you're looking for certain price points? Does it depend on the market? How does that look on your side?
Yeah, for us, we're really focused on properties that are a purchase price. It's pretty wide, but a purchase price between 100,000 to 2 million. And then we're really, really focused on small multifamily. So what that means is that means really 2 to 50 doors at one address. So think everything from duplex to small apartment building. That's where we found, really our sweet spot in the market, and where we can be the most helpful to our customers.
All right, y'all, 100,000 to 2 mil, and they said there.
Small multifamily.
We know about the down payments, we know about the percentages and everything like that. But they said that they're trying to knock that down for y'all as much as they can. So I would utilize that wisely. And yeah, that's even going back to more so my Philly roots. I think about how many duplexes, triplexes,
Yeah.
multi-family homes are really out there, and how they're all scattered together. And that's yeah. So that's pretty cool, and that's amazing just the same. Okay, so now I love a futuristic outlook. I feel like even I was telling you before the podcast, I talk a little futuristic on here sometimes. So, but something that I'm very interested in always is trajectory. Is trajectory of companies, is trajectory of market, everything of the sort. So I know this is something that y'all are thinking about. Like you said,
Yeah, of course.
y'all have a platform. Things are changing. Things could what it looks like here in Florida next year could be different. What it looks like in the Midwest now next year could be different.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So what would you say? And I guess I'll ask this in two parts. What would you say is the trajectory of real estate investment? Do you see this just becoming more popular as time goes on? Do you see more people just slowly but surely inserting themselves in that? And
Yeah.
then the knowledge and with what you're kind of planning for with this trajectory, how is Getaway staying up to date? Because like I was kind of telling you, having a platform, having software, having technology is very good, but you also always want to be up to date. It's nothing like going to a website, talking to people, and it's just so outdated. People don't know what's going
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
And so long. So what would you say too are y'all plans to make sure that y'all are staying ahead of the curve and still providing the best service possible?
Yeah. It's a great question. So first, what's kind of the future of real estate and in investing in general? So, our thesis and really what we believe in strongly is this idea. So originally, the past 50 years, the American dream has been, get a good job, buy a house, and that will be your ticket towards, wealth, and you'll build equity in that home and so forth. We feel strongly that real estate is still very much a part of the American dream, but it's actually shifting a bit away from this idea of buying your primary. Because living in, I'm in Miami. I don't know what part of Florida you're in, but like, I lived in San Francisco before that. Living in these big cities, the idea of buying your primary is like out of reach for 99% of the population. But folks still want to own real estate because we've seen what it does over 30 years. And so our view is that actually this idea of the American dream is not just to own your home, but actually to be a real estate investor and own a portfolio. And we want to be right there alongside our customers and these, entrepreneurs that are taking on real estate as their next avenue to help them do that. So that's first of all. And then in terms of like, how do we stay current? How do we stay up with the times? One thing, we're really looking, and as part of our roadmap is, as cliche as this is, but how do we use AI technology to help make transactions, help make finding deals, help make transacting on deals, help make the entire financing process be more efficient and smoother and easier for not only the end consumer and investor, but also the team behind the scenes that are making it all happen. So that's really a huge focus area for us, because the more and more transactions we can do and help our customers do, through like empowered by technology, the faster we can scale, the faster we can help more and more people. And so that's really where our team's focused.
I love that. I'm actually in Tampa, Florida, so about 4 hours.
Tampa. Okay, so it's expensive in Tampa too. It's wild. Like this idea of buying your primary first is like almost an antiquated way of thinking, where you can buy investment property you make cash flow on it, you make money monthly. It helps pay potentially your rent in those markets that are really expensive.
Got you. No, absolutely. Look, y'all. I told y'all Tampa was expensive. I've been telling my social media.
Yeah.
I've been telling my people don't want to believe me. I'm time. Look, you got, and she's in Miami, so I don't even want to talk about Miami price points.
Miami's dumb.
They're
It's
out of this
like,
world. Yeah, out of this
don't
world.
even get me started.
But I love that. Even like you said, with the even to me as cliche, I don't even. It's just crazy that AI has become such like a talking point these days. But
Oh, for sure.
the more people that the more people that I continue to bring on the podcast and continue to talk to and pick their brains, it's just crazy and eye opening to me just how much AI has really been around us and how much we termed it this
Oh, yeah.
or that or what it was doing there. So the fact that now we're so involved in it and just trying to put our hands and our feet in it in any capacity is very interesting. But no, what you're saying really that makes a lot of sense. Whereas you know best like where you live and what the price points are and everything like that. But there are a lot of times that as you start to get educated, as you come and you meet a company who specializes in Midwest. Well, you may have never visited the Midwest a day in your life, but you could get a crazy deal right there at a good price point. But something that
Yeah.
I'm also continuously hearing with Getaway, with what you're doing, is the guidance piece and just that you're not leaving people out to dry here. You're not just throwing them and feeding them to the wolves and just letting them figure some things out. Because I could
Yeah.
imagine that some people have come to you with just maybe some outlandish things, or maybe of how they thought real estate worked, or how they thought deals went, or maybe they came in even thinking that they knew it all, thinking that they were getaway
Yeah.
or needed a place on the payroll somewhere. But essentially, you're guiding them, you're teaching them, you're kind of walking them through this entire process while making it smooth and seamless, and while also keeping some money in their pocket so that on the back end they can make some more money. So, what would you say? Because I kind of want you to share with my audience just the same as I
Yeah.
know their real estate experience may be across a spectrum. Some may be very versed in real estate, some may know a lot of things and maybe even partake in their own capacity. Others may be kind of in that middle, trying to figure some things out, maybe investing in some sort or some
Yeah.
capacity. Others, like myself, want to make some more money, know that they need to make some more money, have talked to so many people about this, but still have not acted on anything. So what would you say are just some common, I guess, myths or just some things that people may not completely understand about real estate and what you do specifically?
Yeah. Oh gosh. I
And it may
think
be a
the
lot, I
biggest
understand.
I think the biggest thing in this space is really there's so many courses and education and master classes and webinars and things you can go to. You have to just get started. Like the how you are going to learn, and I'm not saying be reckless. Like obviously like do your homework, but I see a lot of customers that I kind of face analysis paralysis, and the best way to really get in and learn is by doing. And so I don't expect your first deal to be a home run. It doesn't need to be a home run. It should be like a solid base hit, because you're building the reps and you're building the knowledge, and you're gonna quickly learn um, which strategies you like and which strategies you don't like. And so I would say don't over crazy analysis paralysis and go to a million courses and then never buy a property. Like really focus on setting a goal and just moving towards it. And not to toot our own horn, but we are a great option if you are trying to get started and need some more help in terms of underwriting and sourcing and things like that, because that's something our team helps, and we've built a lot of product around to help you.
Now you got to toot that horn. This is the
Yeah.
you don't toot it out. But no, I love that just because as soon as you said analysis paralysis, I'm like that's me. Sometimes I just think too much. I think too hard. I write it down. It makes sense. It looks good. It adds up, and I just don't do it. Or I just go, or I just go look at
Yeah.
it in the court. Yeah. So for you, like you, for me, even I need to take that under my wing just to
And
see.
it's not for everyone, but I think there's a lot of folks out there that spend a lot of time on it and then never pull the trigger.
Because for me,
So
I'm
just
big on
decide it's not for you if it's not for you.
agreed. Because
Yeah.
I'm big on don't knock it till you try it. I would be remiss to just say that because I didn't feel like taking a couple notes, watching some videos and things like that, it's just not for me. When there could be so many lucrative opportunities from this, because even in sometimes these master classes, these webinars, these gurus who you talk to, they always start with that same way. And some of it is just a story. They want to sell you. They want to hit the emotions, but
Oh,
people are just the same. I was once in your shoes. I was once just very
Yeah.
passionate, or I was once at one point just wanting to make some more income, or I saw this ad on Instagram where I did a host of different things like that. So no, I get that, but I also love that you're directing people to y'all, because once again that education piece is there. So that I kind of want to follow up even a little bit further now. So for someone who just heard what you said, for someone who says, okay, well, let me start with Getaway, I want to kind of reach out to them, figure some things out. What does the user experience look like when coming across your platform, when really reaching out to you, when they're saying, "Hey, in some form or fashion, I want to be able to invest in real estate. I'm already a real estate investor. I came across y'all. I
Yeah.
know what y'all do. How can I continue, or how can I start working with y'all?"
It is so easy. You head to getaway.co, so just .co, and there's a big button on the homepage that says "Get Started." And follow that flow, fill out a few questions, shoot us your information, and next you'll be in our investor portal where you're able to see the deals that we featured and have sourced and pre-qualified and pre-vetted, as well as submit a deal. So, like, if you see something on the market you're interested in, you can submit it to us. Our team will underwrite it, give you feedback whether or not we could participate, how much we could invest in the deal, and so forth. So we make it really, really easy for you. So if you're interested, just head to getaway.co.
And she said the button was big on the website, y'all. So
It's big.
you can't miss that. But okay, just like that, just very easy and seamless. And I love interactions like that, because it also kind of gives you, I would say it gives you openness in a sense. It gives you, it's not just all saying, "Hey, we're gonna do everything for you. We're gonna make it happen. Click that button." No, it's to click that button and also say, "Hey, maybe you
Yeah.
have some ideas. Maybe you could help us out. Maybe we could come into this together. Each one teach one." Sort of mentality, which is actually the episode that we dropped yesterday. I did not pun intend
Oh,
that,
awesome.
but that was cool. But no, nonetheless, I get this because, like I said, everybody is at a different space in this journey. Everybody is at a different phase, and it's not to say that you're wrong, or you're right, or you may just really be right where you are. But it's all about necessarily getting started, making a conscious decision to want to do it, to want to get started, and everything. So for all my people out there, what I'm obviously saying on all the call to actions that we do, I'm obviously saying go head over to the website, click the get started button. It's as simple as that. Will I be doing the same thing? Yes. So I can't tell y'all to do something and I'm not going to do it too. That would be a walking contradiction, which we are not. So, but Ali, no, I love just the ease at which everything kind of comes, because I feel like what y'all are doing is really just a monumental step. It really can cut out a lot of money. It really can cut out a lot of confusion, back and forth, middleman. And because I feel like that's also where a lot of confusion can come in. Sometimes there are too many hands in the pot. Sometimes you're hearing so
Yeah.
many different things from so many different people. Everybody has a friend who's a realtor, or a real estate agent, or something in
Yeah.
some capacity. So once you start getting different opinions, family members, friends, it can become very overwhelming. And then it always goes back to what you said. We start talking about investors. We start talking about rules. We start talking about inspection, survey, everything of the sort. And you can really just bog yourself down. And then eventually you just kind of take a step back and just don't involve yourself in it anymore. So I love how y'all are simplifying things. And I love how y'all are really just thinking about customer and consumer first. So with that, though, I know that y'all probably have some things coming up, coming soon, everything like that. It's something that we love to do on the Down to Business podcast, for what we can disclose without spoiling anything, is we love to kind of get that future outlook. We love, we talked about what y'all are doing as far as staying up, staying ahead of the curve,
Yeah.
staying up to date with the platform and everything that's kind of going on. But I also want to kind of talk about Getaway specifically, and just, is there anything, with the real estate market being what it is right now, I don't even know if we could put it into one word as to what the market is right now, but with everything happening, with everything that's going to happen, even with the changes over the last 3 to 5 years, is there anything that Getaway is looking to do, any even other areas within real estate that you guys are looking to involve yourselves in, have been experimenting with anything? What can people kind of tap in with you guys for the first
Yeah.
expect for the future?
So, yeah, for us, one thing we're really focused on, and some products we'll be launching soon, is off-market supply. So really, if you look at the market right now, it's very supply constrained. Sellers aren't selling because interest rates are high and they're fearful. They're locked in a lower interest rate, so they don't want to get rid of that. And so there's a lot of dynamics that are just reducing supply. And so we're very, very, very focused on unlocking new channels that you can only find exclusively through us. So that gives us a huge, unique advantage, and our customers an advantage to tap into investment opportunities they won't find elsewhere.
I don't really know what else y'all want me to have y'all, but if you haven't typed in the website by now, if it's not another tab on your browser and I need you to open it up, I'll even let you pause the interview right now. You can pause it right now. You can go to the website. You can click the big button, as we said, get started, do all that. But ultimately, look, there's a lot of opportunity here. There's a lot of education here. Even if my call to action too, it isn't always just go do it, go gung ho with it. No, sometimes it's just learn, because this can be information that you pass along to someone else. This can be information that you go into this, you share this with someone else. They could develop an interest in it. They could already have an interest in it. And y'all, two minds are always better than one. Two sets of eyes are always better than one. So I would definitely just encourage everybody to just learn something, to just go click that get started button, add yourself to the investment portal, see what that looks like, see what underwriting means, see what down payments mean, see what percentages, why they're like that, why Tampa and Miami are so expensive right now, and everything like that. I feel like there's a host of just information out there to learn. And I feel like I feel like the team at Getaway, they want to make sure that everybody is taken care of in some form of capacity. So something that I always love to do before we close out, before we allow people to, find out everything beyond the website or where they can find you, is I always just love to leave a message for other people out there, whether they be business owners, entrepreneurs, startup founders, or within a startup,
Yeah.
whether they be real estate investors interested in real estate in any capacity. But I also love this opportunity just because I want to also ask you, do you feel like there's anything that we have not touched on today? Any last words that you want to leave for these people, but anything too that you also want them to know when it comes to Getaway, when it comes to real estate investment, anything of the sort?
Oh, it's such a good question. I think, broader just advice for my other fellow founders, business owners and my hopefully future customers in terms of the real estate side is like, uh, don't give up. Like, I think right now the sentiment in the market is really tough, especially when it comes to real estate. But right now is such a great time to start because there's less competition, and so forth. So it's really like from an investor's point of view, no better time like the present. And we've seen over and over in terms of cycles that interest rates will come back down again. And the beautiful thing about real estate, as you think about it over a long term horizon, is you'll have the opportunity to refinance. When you refinance, your numbers just get better. So if the market's holding you back, uh, rethink it and definitely look at finding opportunities that could work and only get better over time.
I love that. Yeah, refinancing is something serious, y'all. So just
Yeah.
you don't got to take my word for it. Though you can, the proof is in the pudding, most definitely. But these are things. This is just stuff that you have to think about. We always see those posts where it says, "Hey, if you would have invested in Apple 10 years
Oh
ago,
God.
you'd be great." I saw one the other day. It actually kind of upset me. It said literally, if instead of buying every new iPhone, you just invested that into some stock, you'd be like a billionaire. I'm pretty sure it said that. So it's just like
Oh my God.
think about how many iPhones you've had. Think about how many times have you touched that Apple stock.
That's wild.
So it's interesting. Think about what a get started today could look like 3 to 5 years from now. 10 years from now. Think about, as we think about families, as we think about retirement, as we think about extracurriculars, wanting to live life on your own terms. I know some of y'all want to retire in Florida. I know y'all see that the shades are down, but I know y'all see the background is still nice out here. You know what I'm saying? So we also have to think about things like that. This is not a get rich quick scheme. This is not just a one hit wonder or overnight sensation. Yes, you can have deals that are amazing that kind of come quicker than others or anything, but consistency is the name of the game. And consistency is definitely going to keep you in it in the long run. And Allie and the team, I don't know if y'all don't know it by now, but they're here to help. They're here to assist in any way possible. It's really just up to you. So, Allie, before we officially close out, can you just tell us everything as far as the best ways to get in contact with you, from the website to social media to all things Getaway?
Yeah, like I mentioned earlier, if you want to get started or talk with our team, definitely head to getaway.co, which is just .co. And then for anyone who wants to reach out to me directly, the best way is LinkedIn. It's just under Allie Nichols, and I'm pretty good. I will get back to you as soon as I can.
And if this podcast hasn't taught you one thing, it should teach you that you should have a LinkedIn page. I think everybody
Yeah.
needs a LinkedIn page. I've literally connected with almost every interviewee in some capacity on LinkedIn, and I've been able to connect with their followers, their connections, but you see their posts in real time. You see kind of what they have going on, even more education on the LinkedIn platform in general. And no, they're not sponsoring this episode. I really just am a big advocate for LinkedIn, both professionally and personally. So no, Ali, one, thank you just for everything. One, thank you for the enthusiasm for wanting to come on here today. Thank you for being able to weather this Florida storm, this Florida trajectory market, everything like that. There's so much happening in the Florida landscape. So I'm glad to know that you're still in Miami holding things down. But again, to you and the team, man, I'm very appreciative to everything that y'all are doing, to the education, to the guidance, to the myths that y'all are debunking, to the stereotypes that y'all are setting to be false in a sense, to just everything that y'all are doing for people out there, and everything that I hope to see y'all do once my network connects with y'all. Once people hit that get started button, I'm hoping to see some deals just the same. And obviously, if there's ever anything that we can do from the podcast side of things to support or to show love, please just let us know. But we're forever tapped in now, and hopefully this will be the start of many more deals, many more customers to come. So to everybody out there who continuously taps in, who continuously listens, supports the podcast in any capacity, any form or fashion, I thank you. I love you. This has been another episode of the Down to Business podcast. Here with Tamar Turner.